What's going on, guys? My name's Corrupt, and today I'm bringing you guys my Town 10 Queen Walk Lavaloon attack strategy. Now, this attack is really strong, and I really encourage you guys to start using this attack strategy. So it's definitely a very strong one. So let's go ahead and get straight into it by really talking about the Queen Walk first. The Queen Walk is a really strong option right now, and you should be using it with either a jump or with an earthquake. The difference between the two is that the jump spell has a time limit, which means that you're not always guaranteed for that queen to go there, unlike an earthquake, where an earthquake, as long as you funnel your queen to go into the compartments that you've opened, the earthquake allows you to have those compartments opened permanently rather than temporarily. So you really want to make sure that you know the difference between the jump and the earthquake in terms of using a queen charge in this strategy. So you really got to understand it. Now, sometimes you may not have to use a queen charge and rather use a queen walk. Depends on where all the key buildings are, such as air defenses, where the enemy queen and enemy CC are, where all the other buildings like infernos are. So you just really want to take a look at those and see exactly where they are and where you want to enter in. A good rule of thought is to enter into or start your queen walk in an area where you can get a little bit of value, and then start moving in your queen to go into the base and take out the key objectives and anything else, such as like an air sweeper, which are usually really good to do, especially if you can get both of them. So it's not a bad option to actually kind of take a look at that. Another really good option is really trying to get at least 1 or 2 multis. Those are really good and will really help in your attacks. So you just really want to take a look at that and make sure. Now, again, you're going to be using your rage spells here with your queen walk. The main reason why is you want to try and keep that queen alive. I think that is really your main sort of thing, your main kill squad. It's your main kill squad. So you really want to make sure that you get as much value as you can out of your queen walk, so that then she can actually wreck through the rest of the base, act as cleanup, but your Lalo can finish off the rest of the base and make sure that you get the 3-star pretty easily. So realistically, that is really how you do this. You're looking for that queen, you're looking for the enemy CC, and then you're really just looking for value. And if you can get deeper into the base with the queen walk, the more value that you're getting for your Lalo and the less buildings your Lalo has to deal with. So you just really want to make sure that you keep that in mind. Now, when you start your Lavaloon portion, there are multiple things that you guys need to keep in mind of. One of the things is understanding how many loons you need to drop on each specific defense. So on the screen you will see a chart of all of the defenses at Town 10 and exactly what or how many the number of loons, that you need to take out specific defenses. Now, some of them are going to be 3, 4, 5, and some of them are only going to be 2. So it's always up to exactly how many. I would encourage you guys to put more than just that number alone. So if it says 4, then I would put 5 loons on that specific defense. You just got to remember that when you're sending in your Lavaloon portion, you're not just going to spam them in, or you're going to place like 3 loons on an air defense. What you want to do is you want to try and make sure that that group goes with another group, and then those combined will actually one-shot other defenses later on as they go through the base. So that's just something to really keep in mind as you go through doing this attack strategy. So it's a really good rule of thumb and something to really keep in mind. Now, when you are starting your Lalo, you could actually start with the Stone Slammer going in first. The Stone Slammer is probably the best option for this one, since you realistically don't need to use it as part of the kill squad, and rather using it as a Hound Loon combo is a really good idea, since realistically it's a tank loon that then spawns in more loons. So it's very, very interesting. It's like a mama loon. But you can really kind of picture it as that and then sending in your other, like your loons and your lava hounds. Now again, it's always up to you with the number of lava hounds you want to bring. Usually it's going to be 1 to 2, but usually I would say the max is 2, just because you really want the hounds to tank for as many of the air defenses as you can, and then also using the haste spells to get the loons right up into the base. Now remember, you don't have to do it with every group of loons. You can do it with some groups, but not every group needs to be hasted up. Sometimes you're not bringing that many haste spells and you still got a good chunk of the base left. So you really want to make sure that when you're going into different attacks, that you want to make sure that the loons go into those groups, and if you see where a group isn't being targeted as much, they don't need to be hasted in. However, there are other areas like a bunch of air, or like an air defense, and you want to try and take that out first. So really you want to haste that group that's going to the air defense rather than a group that's going to a cannon or a mortar or something like that. So you really want to make sure that you keep that in mind when you're going in with this. Now you've got to remember, the new earthquake spell can open compartments up that I believe 10 tiles. Even at the level 4, they can still open a ton of compartments, which really makes it valuable to use at Town Hall 10. I've seen it being done before, and it's an incredibly strong way of not just getting value, but also getting rid of the queen and CC. So it's a really good idea and something to keep in mind when you guys are using this strategy. Another thing to keep in mind is realistically, when should you use your poison spell and when should you clean up, when should you start your cleanup and all of that. So the main thing that I really want to focus on here is really just talking about how you guys can know when to start your cleanup, and you should be starting your cleanup as soon as possible. Realistically, you want to try and do it as soon as defenses start going down, like the first layer of defenses, like archer towers, wizard towers, air defenses. You really want to make sure those are out of the way, so that then you can actually start, sending in your cleanup, which is most likely minions. Minions are really good at cleanup, and they are not a bad option in terms of it. And then as you start to go through, everything should work perfectly fine for your Lavaloon. Now, the one thing I wanted to talk about to you guys about this is how you guys can deal with multi-infernos. Multi-infernos are definitely really prevalent. They do a lot of splash damage, plus they also do a lot of damage to those loons over time. So what you really want to make sure that you do is, with your Queen Charge, try and get those air sweepers. Those are big, because the air sweepers can allow defenses to have more time to hit the loons than anything else, and you don't want that to happen, especially if it's under a multi. So it's a good idea to sort of try to get the air sweepers, or as many air sweepers as possible. And if you want to fight an air sweeper, try to enter into an area. Start your Lalo away from an air sweeper. Then let it be the last defense you go against. Because if you go against it early on and you're trying to fight it through a multi-inferno compartment, it may be a bit difficult to even try to do that. Now, another thing that this strategy does really well against is if you can just really grab the queen that's really not too far out or outside of the base. Sometimes you may see where the queen is either right on the outside or just a few tiles on the outside. Sometimes there are buildings touching each other, and that is a good sign to say that you can actually remove that entire compartment pretty easy with just the queen walk, because the queen can reach up to 5 tiles. So usually anything that is touching, if the buildings are touching, then you know that the queen can reach both of them. So it's a good idea to keep that in mind when you're using this. Now, sometimes you're not going to be able to get all the air sweepers, but that's fine. And even the same thing is with the air defenses. However, as long as you can get as much value as possible, the wizard towers, the expos, the archer towers, the infernos, the CC, the queen, then you are perfectly fine and you can get through the rest of the base pretty easy. Now, I didn't talk about jump all too much, and mainly it's because jump is very similar to earthquake. They are both the same thing, getting as much value as you can and all of that. You can even use wall breakers if you want. It's not a bad option for your queen walk, and as you start to move in, using the wall breakers to really get the queen into the first compartment is not a bad option, but I would encourage you guys to use earthquake or jump, and it's usually a better idea to do so. Just make sure that you take a look at the value that you're looking for and then try and go get that. I don't think I missed anything, but hopefully you guys really understand it, and I hope it helps you guys understand this strategy just that tad bit more. So if you guys did enjoy, why not leave a like and subscribe for more of my content. And if you guys want to go ahead and join the X Humanity family or my personal Discord server, those links are going to be in the description below. Feel free to also go ahead and check out my Twitter. The link to it is going to also be in the description below. Hopefully you guys did enjoy and learn something from this, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.